Knight, of course.
And he might be bringing the Enlightened Tutors.
Yeah, I definitely think he will. At the very least, he'll bring in Tutor Tormod's Crypt. Path to Exile targets Jin Gitaxias at instant speed, which is pretty important. All depends what plan he thinks his opponent is on.
Yep.
A lot of this depends on what Lu decided to entomb on turn 1 last game.
Right. Now, the thing about this deck is, so it's actually a little awkward for Reanimator, because a lot of their cards don't do what you need them to do here, right? So, Imperial Archangel is really good against a lot of decks. Maverick, actually, it's not out of the question that it gets enough damage on the board to just kill the Imperial Archangel.
Exactly. I mean, on Night of the Reliquary by itself will eventually kill an Archangel.
Inkwell Leviathan, it can't just island walk over.
Right. It can trample over, but it just doesn't get blocked.
Right, and you can get a Mother of Runes and a Night of the Reliquary going pretty soon to stop that.
Exactly. Take 2 only.
He's got 2 Scavenging Oozes in his main deck, Alex does, which is humongous in this matchup. So this really looks like, I don't know, I think Alex might be favored on this one pretty heavily. He just he's got the graveyard hate, and unless his opponent can get something out real quickly, he's in trouble. And he still has to worry about Path.
Right, Path and Swords to Plowshares.
Right, he can Iona naming white, but there's still a lot of green cards in this deck.
Exactly. Now, one wild card from the Reanimator deck is are the 3 sideboard Show and Tells. Now, depending on how many cards he thinks Alex Kannin might be boarding in against him, he can just Show and Tell something like an Iona into play.
Right, now, the Show and Tell, even in this matchup, you can't lock your opponent out, which is always a little bit problematic. What you want to be able to do with Show and Tell is cast something they can do with. Like you're playing in Hsiu, for instance, and you get a Stinks to Steal.
Right, or an Elesh Norn.
Or an Elesh Norn, right. And, Elesh Norn is good here. Elesh Norn's very good here.
It is.
But, I think that Alex has enough ways to deal with stuff that, it's very hard choices on what you reanimate. I think you almost have to go to Imperial Archangel and just hope that that's enough.
Yeah, I think Archangel, Iona, Elesh Norn, those are the 3 main ones we're going to see. Of course, though, the Reanimator deck doesn't always get to choose what it reanimates. Sometimes it just has to careful study its Jin Gitaxias into the bin and hope it gets there.
Yep, and, considering that his opponent has 4 swords and can board with 2 paths, it's not always the best bet.
No. I mean, yeah, you have Force of Will, yeah, you have Daze, yeah, you have Thoughtseize, but you don't always draw these cards together.
No, you don't.
So I think I agree with you that the Green-White Maverick deck is favored, but the Reanimator deck definitely has some tricks up his sleeve, Show and Tell being the main one.
Show and Tell is a good one. And, you can't always just turn to Jin Gitaxias and your opponent doesn't have anything. You can always just turn to Angel of Despair and, blow up their land and win that way.
Exactly.
Inkwell Leviathan on turn 2. And if you're exhuming it, it's going to be hard to race that.
Exactly. Reanimate's really easy to race sometimes for a deck like this, but Exhume is the reanimation spell that Lu wants to draw here.
Right. He just cannot afford. If he takes too long to set things up, he just cannot afford for Alex to get a Scavenging Ooze. That is the nightmare card.
Right. It'll prevent him from ever reanimating anything again.
And it looks like he has
a Reanimate in hand.
Can't see much else.
Reanimate, Show and Tell, Entomb, and a land, and a Ponder, and an Archangel. Wow, so this is a great hand for him.
A very good hand.
He's looking at a turn 2 fatty of his choice, depending, of course, on what his opponent plays.
Right.
If Alex Kannin plays something like a Noble Hierarch, he'd probably go for an Elesh Norn. If he has no play, then it's a little different story.
See,
it's probably Archangel.
I think that you almost need to go for either the Archangel or Archangel, Iona, or the Inkwell, if you're doing it really early.
I think you might be underrating Elesh Norn a little bit.
Elesh Norn is great, but you have to worry about all those swords.
Right.
You're investing a lot of your deck's entire potential whenever you reanimate anything, and Elesh Norn does kill a permanent, but if you get that swords, would you do better doing that, or say Iona? If you can do it turn 2, Iona naming white is probably one of the better plays.
That one's pretty good.
You only have to swing 3 times. And so, yep, Alex goes to 6.
Lu on 7 with a really, really great hand. He would love to draw something like a Daze or a Force of Will for his turn 2.
Oh yeah.
That would be the ideal draw. Thoughtseize would be fine too. Now, Alex Kannin would love to draw his one of Tormod's Crypt. That's about the only thing that will save him on the draw versus a turn 2 reanimation spell.
Yeah, I mean, the best, if he can play a turn 2 Scavenging Ooze with one back with a bird or something, you might think that's enough, but not against Lou's turn hand.
Not on the play anyway. So polluted Delta, and Lou passes the turn.
He is definitely planning on exhuming. And turn 1, Green Sun for 0. That will be getting a Dryad Arbor.
Yep. Not a Red Sun. Can't get a Kobold. Is Dryad Arbor the only legal target for that spell?
It has to be. I can't imagine there's any other green
0 drops. I don't think so.
As far as I know, red is the only color that has 0 drops that say something special on.
Right. So Alex will then pass the turn back to Lou, and he will not be happy when he sees the news.
So I think you either go for Iona or you just get like an Inkwell and just say, well, this guy's got Shroud. Good luck racing it.
Yeah, after I think about it a little more, the more I like your Iona play. Because Alex Kannin can race, but on the draw with this start, I don't think he'll be able to really.
Yeah.
He would need
just 3 turns.
Pretty good hand.
If you get something out to gain life, you might be able to get a few more turns out of it, but unless you somehow manage to power out, a Jit next turn and start attacking with it, gaining 4 turn, and then you still get something else out and keep gaining life.
Right. So there's the Elishnorn, passes by that. Yep, he agrees with you.
He's going with Iona.
So after winning game 1, Alex Kannin staring down a turn 2 Iona. Wow.
He did the Exhume, right?
I think he had a reanimate.
I couldn't tell if I thought he might have also had an Exhume, but maybe not.
If he did, this hand would just be the stone cold.
If he has the Exhume, I mean, there's just no way that nothing can go so wrong that Lou would be able to lose the race.
Right. He draws a Thoughtseize for good measure, so he'll do that first.
Underground Sea, and he's thinking.
Yep, he definitely wants to Thoughtseize.
He might
first,
be. I think he is concerned that his opponent might have a Surgical. Right.
But the 2 life is not that trivial either, because that plus reanimate plus the fetch land, he's looking at being at 8 life.
Knight the Reliquary, Gaddock Teague,
2 chokes. Wow. So Lou doesn't care about a single one of those cards, does he?
No, he does not.
I imagine he'll take the Knight just because that's the only card that can effectively race here.
Iona's going to lock that out anyway.
Yeah, true. He takes Gaddock Teague. It doesn't really seem like it matters too much which one he takes.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, out comes Iona. It's going to name White.
Yep. White shuts off. White shuts off the sword, shuts off the path.
The sword shuts off the Knight from ever coming into play.
Yep.
It doesn't leave. Maybe if Alex had a Goif or something, Lou might have to worry about it, but he doesn't. His hand is.
Yeah, I mean Lou is at 8 life or 9 life, but still that's a far cry from being dead with only a Dryad Arbor in play.
Right.
I think you would need to draw GT this turn. I think you nailed it. I think that's the one card that could turn this around for Alex. Or a Sword of Fire and Ice. That would do it too.
Wasteland? And what?
And that's a choke.
Yep, we'll keep that underground from ever untapping.
Yep.
But
Lou is fine with that.
Yeah, he's fine with that. Doesn't matter.
Swamp will
untap.
Yep. Wise of Lou to fetch the basic there.
And in for 7. momentarily. There we go.
Yep. And
Alex down to 13.
And it looks like Lou is thinking about reanimating that Gaddock Teague.
No, I'm not sure what that does.
Not too much. Blocks the Dryad Arbor.
Yeah.
That's about it. But he can still do that next turn, if he has to.
Right. I guess if the Goyf came down, it would protect a little bit of damage.
Right.
And the, yep, that Dryad Arbor takes him to 7. And barring a JIT or some way to extend the game just a little bit, that is about it.
Yep, Lou looking like he'll take this game.
Yep, he has, the only other card he can get is a Scrib Ranger, which will block for a turn.
Sure. So Lou
draws, looks like another Thoughtseize.
Yep, he doesn't need that one. 2 life at this point, way less valuable than knowing the cards in his hand. Because they're most likely white anyway.
Right, and I think he knew he drew that Misty Rainforest anyway.
Right.
And he Thoughtseizes anyway.
Cast it anyway. Going to 5.
He says, no,
the night.
That's fine. You can have your swords.
Like
you
insult
can have
to
the second
injury.
choke.
So right now, what can Alex Kannin draw? Can he draw anything here?
I don't believe he can. I mean, he'd have to draw Scrib Ranger. He'd have to draw a land, a JIT, and a Scrib Ranger.
Yeah.
All on this turn.
Oh, no, he can draw one of Caracas.
Oh.
I didn't even see that down there in his land section.
Yep, that would do it.
That is his out right there, his Caracas. So let's see if he can one out Lou. And actually, if Lou does put him on that one out, it is smart to Thoughtseize there to take that knight, so he can also play knight in the same turn.
That's true. That's true.
Yep, that's the only thing.
More shuffling.
Maze of Ith. If Alex Kannin decided in Maze of Ith, he can draw that one. That'll stave off death for a little while.
For a long while, really.
Yeah, until Lou finds another creature.
I mean, it'll take him a while to get enough green out, but eventually he'll draw more green creatures.
Right. At that point, I think Lou would have to reanimate one of Alex Kannin's creatures and start bashing.
Yeah.
Probably a knight. Shovels it around a little bit. Little 3-card Monty.
Takes a peek.
Is that it? I don't think that's it. I
don't
he'd
think it's
slam
either.
it.
And
Alex Kannin staring at these white cards in his hand. Do they do anything?
I can't tell you. I couldn't tell if the feed froze or he just was just thinking. Cannot really tell.
Goes to Savannah, but I'm not sure.
3 mana. What is this for 3 mana? Green Sun for 2.
For 2. Okay. What could this be? This could be a Scavenging Ooze, gain 1 life. That doesn't do it. Scrib Ranger to block.
That is probably a Scrib Ranger to
like
block.
what it is.
He'll also take Lou down to 4.
Yeah.
And Scrib Ranger has protection from blue.
Pro blue. Yep.
So that does not help out with the Iona.
No, of course, Scrib Ranger can bounce Dryad Arbor. Not really too relevant here.
Not very important. But he knows Lou's only have 4 life, or he'll go down to 4 life his turn.
Exactly.
If he can draw Caracas, he's not a far way off of from killing him.
No, he probably wins this game if he does, because the only cards that Lou can then reanimate with are Exhume, which brings back Knight, which gets which gets something there.
You also need another creature in his graveyard.
Right. The more important part. And without access to blue mana, that's probably not going to happen.
Yep, so he's giving himself 1 more turn.
And the good news for him is that Lou can't really do anything either.
Right.
Because of that choke. Do you like choke in this matchup?
Not particularly. I think usually by the time that it comes to that, it's not terrific.
Right, like for example, this game, Lou already had a creature in play when he cast choke.
Right. Without knowing what he boarded out, I mean,
hard to say.
It's really hard to say.
So Lou just sitting with a handful of blue cards. He has no other play but to attack here.
Yep. Attack, block.
Not sure what he's thinking about. He cannot not attack.
Right.
And Alex can't not block. Both of these plays should have taken only a few seconds here.
Fate has deemed how these plays have to go.
Yep. He can't take it at 5 life.
He could bounce a land, but
seems like what he's thinking about.
Doesn't do a whole lot. Unless we have life totals wrong. I mean,
no, I don't see how we could.
No.
There's the block. And that creature will go to the graveyard. Life totals, Alex Kannin 5, Lou 4.
Remain 5 to 5. Alex is another turn to try and draw a Caracas.
And again, 3-card Monty.
Yep. You know, again, if he had one more land, Jit would put him back in the game.
Yep.
It would let him go up to enough life that one swing wouldn't kill him.
Unfortunately for him, though, he doesn't. He doesn't have enough land to even do that. The 2 cards in his hand, Choke and Swords to Plowshares going into this turn.
We know those 2. He doesn't have enough mana to play Scavenging. He can play Scavenging Use,
but he
can
can't
gain 2
enough.
life, but still puts him at 7.
Yep, just barely not enough. So Lou and Alex Kannin might be in danger of going to time here. There's quite a bit of time has passed in this round, and they're taking so long for these automatic decisions.
Yeah, I don't know what all the thinking's about. I'm very curious to find out what is in his hand that has him thinking about what he could do here.
Yeah, he literally has 1 out in his
2,
deck.
3.
Could this be another Green Sun? Maybe that's why he was thinking.
What does Green...
Green Sun doesn't get anything here. Yeah, he's trying to decide what X should be to see if he can get anything with his Green Sun here.
Yep, Green Sun for 3.
But he's not going to find anything. Nothing in the sideboard, nothing in the main deck. No, yeah, I don't see it.
He can get a Knight into play, but it's not going to be able to use his ability.
Nope.
Not going to be able to keep him alive for 1 more turn.
No, you see him there pulling Knight to the front, but if he couldn't get anything good for 3 last turn, I'm not sure what he hopes to get this turn.
Yeah, and last turn he had to get a blocker.
Right.
You know, the only way to stay alive is to get the Scrib Ranger.
Right. What green flying blockers are there, really?
Right. He just has to hope that Lou doesn't attack. Oh, they have about 15 minutes left, so they should be fine.
Hopefully. Even 5 extra turns is about half the game, really.
Right, right. Especially with Reanimator being such a fast deck.
Right. And Lou should just turn his creature sideways here.
Yep. Just come in. All right.
There's the scoop.
Going to game 3.
So very deliberate game 2 there from Alex Kannin and Hsiu Lu. And they'll go back to their sideboards for game 3. Now, Choke on the play is a little different than Choke on the draw, but I still don't really like it.
Yeah, I just really think that you need pressure and you need graveyard hate, and Choke doesn't do either of those things.
Exactly.
You know, yeah, it keeps him off blue, but you know he's got 2 swamps, 2 islands, and most of these decks do have something in that range. A lot of these also play Darkslick Shores.
Right.
And you know, Choke nothing against that card. So
you know, turn 2 Choke on the play could be okay.
It could be okay.
But that's the only way.
Right. Right.
Any turn after turn 2, it doesn't do enough.
So it really doesn't.
Bojuka Bog, Tormod's Crypt, maybe Oblivion Ring, Enlightened Tutors.
He just has so many blue sources.
Right.
That, you know, I imagine that game if one of the chokes was any green creature in his deck.
Yeah, he would have been able to attack it.
You know, even a Noble Hierarch game would have been much closer.
I think he might have won that game.
He might have.
That was a Noble Hierarch.
Right. You know, maybe Lou does 1 less Thoughtseize.
Sure.
But yeah, the game's totally different with that one little change.
Exactly. The chokes are just practically dead cards. I'm really excited to see the Phyrexian Metamorph in action here from Alex Kannin. He can Enlighten Tutor for that one, so even if there's a fatty already in play, say an Iona naming blue, they'll be able to fetch the Metamorph and Legend Rule it.
Yeah. That's really powerful.
Really awesome.
So many of these cards that are legends. Obviously, Iona's a legend.
Elesh
Norn's a legend.
Jin Gitaxias. Well, Jin Gitaxias has already done his damage.
He probably has already done his damage. So, I mean, the thing is that he takes, if he reanimates it, he takes 10.
Right.
So if you can play a Metamorph, killing it, and attack him,
all of a sudden reanimate his dead. All of a sudden exhume his dead because it just brings back Metamorph.
Right. You got to exhume something else.
Yeah, actually, Metamorph's a sick card against them.
He still Metamorphs something else. Yeah. Like, if you're just like, well, I'll bring back Archangel, they're like, all right, well, I'll have an Archangel too.
Exactly, and then you'll have Archangels just staring off against each other.
And you can swing at their Archangel, and, it is like, I think, a 5/8.
A 5/8.
But, 3 more damage anywhere.
Exactly.
And it takes down the Archangel.
Not hard to get 3 damage in the Maverick deck.
It really isn't. Really is not.
So Alex Kannin on the play. Who do you think's favorite on the play? Still the Maverick deck, right? Did the last game change your mind at all?
No, not really. Not in particular. I mean, like, Lou has some good plays, but I don't know. I just think that none of his targets, the thing about Reanimator is a lot of these targets just completely shut out other decks.
Right.
Just completely. And most of them don't actually shut out Maverick. They're all good against Maverick. They're incredibly good against it, but they don't shut it out.
Right. They don't just auto win.
Right.
Like they do against a lot of decks in the format. Like, for example, Elish Norn against Elves, auto win.
It's an auto win. Yep.
And Iona against a lot of decks, auto win.
Yeah, auto win. Not here. Not at all.
I mean, we saw that game. It was semi-close. If Alex Kannin had just drawn something like a Scavenging Ooze earlier in the game, Iona on white wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards. If he had been, if he had one more turn, and he would have been able to Green Sun Zenith for a Knight of the Reliquary, sack a land, get a Caracas,
right?
Bounce Iona.
Yeah, if Alex can ever resolve a Knight in this matchup, it should be very, very hard.
Yeah, it leaves you really with Inkwell Leviathan and Imperial Archangel, and again, Knight gets big enough to actually kill Imperial Archangel really quickly.
Right.
And Inkwell Leviathan, it takes a lot longer to kill that. It's 7/10.
But it also doesn't have it does not have Island Walk, or rather, Island Walk doesn't do anything there.
Right.
Has a Shroud Trample Island Walk.
Right.
And has a 7/11. Yeah.
I really like. I think he's one of the better targets in this. I really like him and Imperial Archangel a lot.
Shroud is really good.
Shroud is really important in this matchup. The downside is that it's much better if you have a thing and you're able to keep your opponent from doing anything really crazy.
Right.
If you're early enough, you can you have like an Iona or something, or a Elish Norn rather. You can always have forceful backup for it, but you do have to worry that if you can invest a whole lot and get swords. Now I wonder if he took out how many swords he's playing and how many paths.
Yeah, I'm curious. We saw one sword last game, 0 path.
Because if you have the option, you definitely want paths in over swords.
Oh, by far.
Because if they pay, like for instance, 10 life for Jinga taxes, right? Alex Mo's the 6, looking much better for loot. If you get like a Jinga taxes, you take 10. Yeah, swordsing is really good. If you swords it, then they go back up to 15. They can still reanimate another 10 drop. However, if you path it, there's a lot less they can reanimate.
Exactly. Yeah, they get a basic land, but in the Reanimator deck, that's rarely relevant. They almost always have all the mana they need to operate.
Right.
So Alex is searching for sideboard cards right now. Lou's hand contained a Reanimate and an Elish Norn. Those are the only cards I saw, but he kept to 7 pretty quickly. So I have to imagine they're pretty good.
At least a Careful Study, if not an Entomb.
Yep. A player as deliberate as Lou would have thought if it was borderline. Thought for a longer.
Yep. And Lou really needs either a turn 1 Accelerator, then into a Scavenging Ooze, or one of these hate cards. And does he like his 6? No, he doesn't. He's going to 5.
It doesn't really matter though if he's on 5 if he has the cards he needs in this matchup, because it just basically revolves around one specific thing, that fatty.
Mm-hmm. That's all that really matters. You're right. If he draws, Tormod's Crypt, for instance, he really might be able to hold Lou off long enough that those card loss doesn't really matter so much.
Exactly. The Crypt just buys him so much time.
Yeah, there's only so many plays over the course of the game the Reanimator deck can actually make. It's one of the big dangers of the deck is that you really only get to cast 1 Reanimate, barring the swords.
Exactly. So 1 Reanimate, the other 3 in your deck become virtually dead after that point.
And this is one of the matches where Animate Dead is its worst because Alex has 3 Kasali Pride mages.
Yeah, he does. And also Mother of Runes. No, actually, Mother of Runes only gives protection to your
only
creatures.
your own guys.
Disregard that. But Exhume also can be dangerous later in the game. All of the reanimation spells, they're really cheap and they're really efficient, but they all have their drawbacks.
They do. Yeah, Exhume is usually the best one, but
they're all very situational.
They are. And Zuleika's 5.
Yes. Caracas. Yes. Wow. So that is a great land to draw. Lou has no way to kill that Caracas save for an Angel of Despair.
I hold that unless it's my only land.
Yeah.
I want
too.
my opponent to think, and Lou does the classic draw discard.
Yep.
Now, we do not see what he discarded, unfortunately.
No, we'll find that out from the table judge for you. But yeah, I would sooner not play land and just say go than play that Caracas there.
Yeah.
Because if Lou expends all his resources to just get something like an Iona into play...
Gaddock Teague, which will stop Force of Will, and that's about it. Imperial Archangel.
Yep, that was the card Lou discarded.
Yep, that's one of the better ones. I think that's one of the better ones to reanimate in this matchup. Though you always could just really, really hope that he discards Elishnorn or something.
Right.
Reanimating the Archangel.
That'll resolve. Lou drops to 12 life, takes 8 from that.
And that is a 5/7 Flying Shroud, and any damage dealt to you is dealt to it instead.
Yep. And Lou will say go.
Hard to deal with. A Metamorph will be really good. Again, a Knight can pretty quickly build itself up to large enough to take it out, but it's going to take a second. And one of the downsides, of course, of Gaddock Teague is that it shuts off
your Green Sun. Yeah. And Green Sun is pretty big here because he only plays one of a lot of cards that would be great, like Script Ranger.
Yep, and he takes 1, goes to 19 to play Sylvan Library.
Yep.
He is really, really, really going to need that Metamorph.
Yeah, Metamorph would be good. Scrib Ranger would be good.
Scrib Ranger would be amazing. Yeah.
Scavenging Ooze would be okay.
It's almost bad that he has that Gaddock Teague in play. It almost would be better for him, just so he could Green Sun for a Scrib Ranger and block.
Right. The only cards that actually shuts off from Lou's deck are Force of Wills, and he might have sided those out. We haven't seen one in Game 2 or Game 3. And it's almost at its worst versus this Maverick deck. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really care about any of the spells.
No, not so much.
So Gaddock Teague almost a liability here.
I think it actually is a liability, not even almost.
Yeah.
Ponder. He's just seeing what else he can get.
Yep, trying to find... Wow, look at all these reanimation spells. He has at least 2 in his hand, I think.
And the Angel comes for 5.
You know what I've always thought is interesting? That these Reanimator decks don't play any lifelink creatures. Sphinx of the Steel Wind in the sideboard, but these Reanimates add up really fast.
Yeah, and Sphinx is obviously just not good here because they have swords and stuff. It's really good against decks that can't deal with that. But
right, like
Goblins, wonderful. Burn, wonderful. It's even really good against Zoo. They can still kill it with that, but it's one of your more reliable creatures.
Yeah, it's one of your trumps. So Alex, looking at his Sylvan Library cards,
does not seem incredibly pleased with them.
No, he has to find a Scrib Ranger. Has to find a Stoneforge Mystic. Has to find something.
Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic would be gigantic.
Yes.
Batterskull would essentially race the Imperial Archangel, and he's only 1 point of damage away from just being able to kill it on attack.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what he does here. It looks like he's not going to pay any life.
Nope.
But he's still resolving it. Oh, yep, it looks like he paid 4 life. So Alex Kannin down to 9. Misty Rainforest will shuffle his deck, get him a look at 3 fresh cards next turn.
But it does put him on a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, it does. And he doesn't like to do that. But it looks like it's what he has to do. He has to find some way to deal with this.
Right. And he has to, one of the things is if he goes down to 7 right here, if Luke can get a, he can't Green Sun Zenith.
Yeah, no.
No Green Sun Zenith.
Unfortunately, Alex Kannin, Gaddock Teague stops that.
Yeah, can we tell the judge? Okay.
Yep, the judge is halting play right now. That Green Sun will be pulled out of his deck, put back in his hand.
Gaddock Teague proving to be a liability here.
Yeah. Just not really good against this Reanimator deck in general.
Yeah, and big problem here is that with those two Horizon Canopies,
so Caracas'
own guy.
Taps 2 Horizon Canopies, goes down to 7 life.
Now here's the real problem. If Hsiu has a way to discard the Elishnorn, he can reanimate Elishnorn, kills the Scrib Ranger, and attacks for 7.
Right.
So he gets Alex Exaxes.
Yep, he has an Entomb in hand, he has a Reanimate in hand.
He needs a careful study.
The Elishnorn is in his hand. I mean, even if he can't discard that Elishnorn this turn, he's still in great shape.
Yeah, he's still in really good shape, but
he can he can actually reanimate an Angel of Despair. It looks like, providing the kill not this turn, but knocking your opponent to 1, shutting off those Horizon Canopies. But no, he doesn't Entomb.
He still has. I mean, he can still pay 1 here.
Still do it now. I guess he wanted that Animate dead in his hand.
Yeah. Entomb, go get that Angel.
Oh. He might have sided that one out. That one's a pretty big liability against Metamorph. Not sure if he knew that card's in Alex Kannin's sideboard.
It looks like he did bring in a Sphinx. It looks like. He does still have the Force Wheels in. He's looking to what to get, and I don't think he's quite sure.
Yeah, he knows that none of the cards that he can get will kill his opponent this turn. He's just trying to figure out which one will give him the best chance of winning.
Taxes, actually. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, that might be a Sphinx. I think that was a Sphinx of the Steel Winds, yeah. Pro green, pro red, lifelink, first strike.
Not pro white though.
Not pro white.
The relevant part about that card.
Yep. So Hsiu, though, no second land, so if he wants that Sphinx into play this turn, he'll have to reanimate it. Which is why I'm a little confused why he didn't Entomb last turn.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yep, and there goes reanimate.
Dropping Hsiu to 3.
Fortunately for him, that Imperial Archangel will
get blocked.
The question for Alex is, do you have a Swords? You of course want to play Gaddock Teague first.
Right.
Just in case he has a Force Will.
Looks at the top 3.
And he'll still lose if Hsiu draws a Careful Study.
Right, at any point. So Sylvan Library gives him a fresh 3 cards to look at after a shuffle effect too.
And apparently we're on turn 0.
Wow. So if Alex Kannin can just stave off death for a few more turns, this will be a draw.
That seems hard.
Yeah, that it does.
It seems like one player will win. Seems like one player is going to win this. Just the life total being 6-3.
Right.
Well, it's hard to tell. I mean, things could just stalemate right here. He has the Swords and not much else.
Yep, so right now it looks like Alex will shuffle his deck, use Horizon Canopy to draw a random card off the top, try and hit a Swords or a Path. At least I have to imagine that's what the mana's for. No. Gaddock Teague. Okay.
Stops Force Will, and that is the Swords.
Wow,
yeah.
He does have the Swords. So Hsiu goes up to 6, so he gains 6 life, goes up to 9.
And well, I guess this might be a draw.
Yeah. Hsiu has to find a way to get that Elishnorn into the graveyard.
Yep, that's his big thing right now.
Scrib Ranger does not come in.
Attacking, not going to do a whole lot here.
Your opponent
1
is at 9.
To Imperial Archangel.
Now, he can untap the Scrib Ranger, but that doesn't do a heck of a lot.
Right, but it just does 1 to Imperial Archangel.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Hsiu draws a Brainstorm. That's a good draw right here.
Needs to look. Always going to Thoughtseize himself.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
So he goes to 7. discards the Elishnorn.
Yep.
Now he doesn't actually have enough to reanimate it.
Why did the Imperial Archangel go to the graveyard? There we go.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
That one's in play.
He's still short of reanimating it this turn. He can do it next turn.
Yep, so as long as Alex doesn't draw something here, you see, he should win in turn 3 of extra turns. Attacking is pointless. So turn 2 here for Alex Kannin. End of turn, he'll draw a card.
Taking 1, going to 4.
Yep, his life total not particularly relevant here, as long as it's not 0. Now he needs a scavenger unit right here.
And I don't think any of those are scavenging units.
No, that's the look of a man who is looking for more options. Now, if he takes that Windswept Heath that's on top of his library, he will be able to get a look at one more card if he fetches then Horizon Canopies.
Right. And let's see, that's what he does.
He might have something like a Green Sun Zenith on top, trying to figure out if he can somehow get enough mana to be able to do this. I'm not sure he's going to be able to.
No, I mean he is in pretty bad shape right now. Yep, searching.
Yep,
and looks like he's dead. The old Hail Mary.
Yep.
Need a Bajuk Bog. I don't think he... Ooze will have enough for Ooze. Ooze will do it.
Yep, Ooze is exactly what he wants to draw here. Counting it up, not quite enough to kill that Archangel.
No. A little bit away. A little bit away.
A G-Tan and Equip would almost allow him to live, save for the 1 point he takes from Windswept. He just says go. I wonder what his plan is. Could he have another Swords to Swords the Elesh?
Well, that doesn't matter.
No, because Lou has 2 extra turns, not just 1. And
well, the Elishnorn will kill his whole board.
Right, he's at 4 now. Yeah.
Right. So even if he has the Swords, that doesn't do it. He'd have to have 2 Swords, 1 for his own Gaddock Teague. Exhume. Out comes Elishnorn.
Checks the graveyard, sees if there's anything better than Elishnorn. There is not.
He is thinking about bouncing his own Gaddock Teague. The only way he survives this really would be sorting his own Gaddock Teague going to 6.
Yeah, and then bouncing Elishnorn.
And then, yeah.
But that still leaves him...
Or sorting his opponent's Elishnorn.
Sure.
Too, but...
That'll still leave him dead on turn 5 of extra turns, I think.
I believe it will, too. Yep, swords his own Gaddock Teague.
Yep.
Goes to 6.
So up to 6. Scrib Ranger will die. Now, unfortunately for Alex, he's going to drop to 1, so he won't be able to use that Windswept Heath.
No, he will not. Archangel comes for in a hypothetical 7.
Turns into 5, though. Legendary Caracas returns Iona to lose hand.
And now, even that Metamorph.
No, yeah.
Not gonna do it.
You're right.
We'll draw a card off that Horizon Canopy since he can't tap it anyway.
Yep, has outlived its usefulness.
And what can he draw here? I don't know if there's anything he can actually draw.
Maze of Ith? No, it has Shroud. Yeah, I don't think there is anything. He's a few lands short of being able to witness the Scrib Ranger back into play. Yeah, I think Alex Kannin might be drawing dead here.
Not near enough life to gain off of the Scavengers.
He needs a Fog.
A Fog would be good. Constant Mists.
Ooh.
People do not play enough Constant Mists.
I think people play exactly the right number. That is a scavenging ooze.
Yep. A little too late.
Yep, he'll be able to go up to 2, use a fetch down to 1, up to 2 again.
Yep, 2 is less than 5.
It's been a while since my math class, but I think you're right.
Now, let's see. Well, he can go... Actually, no. So he can remove a creature, go up to 3. Oh, it's still not enough. No, it is. Removes creature, goes up to 3, right? Puts a counter on it, sacks the fetch, gets a plains. Swords it.
Okay.
And then he's not dead. Now, what Blue needs to do here is just animate... oh, he can't because he returned the Elvish Norn, yeah.
Oh.
And amazing. If that last card is a Swords, then this game will draw.
Wow.
Unless there's no exalted creatures, are there?
Not in Lou's deck.
Oh, careful study.
Wow.
That might just get around it. I think he needs a land.
Yeah, he did not hit a land. So we'll see if Kannin's last card is Swords. He has slow rolled us while dead before, so he might not have it. This is turn 5, Lou. Got to attack. There's that.
I believe he attacked in 1. Was that an attack and win?
A draw?
I don't know. Do we have a life total?
I think Lou thought that Mazavith could target Archangel.
Oh wow!
Wow, yeah, Lou's realizing it just now. Look at him. He realizes that he turned that win into a draw.
He had it on board. All he had to do was turn his creature sideways.
Wow. So a momentary lapse. He must have thought Mazavith just didn't target,
or just forgot it was Shroud. I don't know. Just didn't think about it. Put this guy sideways. Alex can't fake the Mazavith.
No.
Can't just tap it and see what happens.
He can point to it, I guess. That's about the limit of what he could do.
Jeez.
So Alex Kannin squeaks out a draw there by the skin of his teeth. These players moved to 2-0-1.
He will probably be pretty happy with that draw.
Yeah, I think he'll take it.